I'm going to show you exactly how Shelby Sapp makes over $1 million per month in profit from her online info coaching business, and exactly how you as either an online coach or creator can do the exact same thing by following her systems. And I'm going to break these down in a very simple 3-step process that first starts off with generating traffic, nurturing that traffic, and then converting that traffic into buyers. So let's actually take a look at how she's generating traffic right now. So she has 2 ways. One of which is organic and one of which is paid ads. And in order for us to actually understand her ad strategy, we have to break down her organic first because it directly feeds into that. So let's have a look at that right now. So she has 3 channels that she's using to generate traffic through her organic right now, which is Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And let's first take a look at her Instagram. So she has 2 channels. One of which is her personal channel, which is her name. And then the other one is like her coaching company called She Sells. But let's actually first break down her personal channel. So if we have a look at the type of content she's making, she makes 4 different types of content: value-based content, lifestyle-based content, authenticity-based content, and viral type content. And you need all 4 in order to have a successful content system. And the reason why is because if you only have one of these, right? Let's say you're a coach, and I see a lot of creators having this. They just provide lots and lots of value because, Alex Hormozi says so, right? They give so much value, but people will never actually buy into you because they don't like you, or they don't trust you, or they don't see that you're actually a real person. Because in order for anyone to buy from us, they need to know, they need to like us, and they need to trust us. And each one of these types of content does this. So if we look at the value, actually, let's start off with the viral. If we look at the viral content, we need people to understand who we are. Like, we can't sell anything if people don't even know who we are. So that's what the viral content's for. It's to get people to know her and get her brand. And she does this with, copying viral formats like the 7-second type of format where she's not even talking about sales. She's just talking about her crazy lifestyle and how she's on a flying private or flying first class, even though she's a young girl. And this attracts eyeballs. And then once she's got people to know her, then they need people to actually like her. And she does this by posting authenticity-based content, right? And this authenticity-based content is like her breaking down her week in her life, how she was crying because of all the stress and that kind of thing, which shows off that she's a real person and she's not just some guru or some random creator. She's a real person that's relatable and is actually, people can like feel the emotions that she's feeling. Then to add to that, she has a lifestyle, which builds authority, as you can see here. Come with me to Pinkify my Rolls Royce. This shows off the crazy lifestyle she has that makes it really appealing for people to follow her because they're like, how does this young girl, this young woman have this level of success at such a young age? Just piques interest, piques curiosity, and she does this really effectively. And then in order for people to actually trust us, she needs to provide value, because in order for people to buy from you, they of course need to get good value from you. So she does this as well, makes videos on sales, and in this case, how to deal with how to close a deal without pressure. So, and in the format of a lot of these videos are in a raw head talking style video. And we've seen this being really, really effective with loads of other creators like TGR, Brez Scales, because it's very refreshing. It's not some crazy camera angle with crazy edits. It's just raw, the creator talking to you. And it's so personal, it almost feels like a FaceTime call. Like, they're holding the camera up to you and they're just talking to you. So very, very effective. Then, if you've watched her videos, she has a very unique personality in the sense that she's very sassy. She has that independent girl, almost like girl boss, like kind of personality that I would say she has. And this is directly appealing to her ICP, which is young women who are like 18 to 25 that want financial freedom and want to be independent and that kind of thing. And she very, very well does this. She builds almost that dream state that girls want to be, where they drive a Porsche, they go Pilates, they work for a couple hours a week, and they make a lot of money. That's kind of like the dream ICP that these people want. She captures this image very, very, very well. And on some of these reels as well, she'll have some CTAs in the description. Basically, a CTA is a call to action. So she'll say, comment the word sales if you want to learn how to get into sales in my free event. And then as you can see, you basically just get a DM to a link, which I'll break down further in a second. So if you also just come to her page as well, she has some pinned posts. And the reason why is because basically the moment someone goes onto a page, they can instantly get a full understanding of her. So she has this video where she breaks down her entire story. This makes it really relatable, gets people to know who she is. And then these are some really viral videos that she made, which are providing value, and they show her authority too. To add to that as well, if we look at her highlights, she has 2 student wins highlights, which is really, really effective because it just shows off tons and tons of student results, giving proof to people that her teaching actually works and that other people actually get value from it. And the reason why this is effective is because if you show social proof, it's just a bias that people will think, okay, if this works for that person, it can definitely work for me as well. So it's really effective to showcase this as much as possible as a creator, because it will give your audience proof of concept that what you do actually works. So she does this really well. And then if we also look at the type of story she's posting, she has a mix of things. And it's actually really important that I make this clear. So it's important to not CTA all the time, not have all these call to actions where you're saying, DM me the keyword sales to learn more about this, because every time you CTA your audience, you're building a bit of resistance because you kind of know you're getting sold to. So it's really, really important to do this occasionally and effectively. And she does this quite well by just posting random highlights of her day, and then occasionally there'll be a CTA. So if we look at one of her sequences right now, it starts off with a hook. And the hook is really important because you need people to actually like stay and watch the rest of the following posts. So she starts off by saying, oh, I just landed in New York. Do you want to see what I did this morning? No, anyways, I'll show you still. Then she just kind of goes about her day, shows off kind of her crazy lifestyle, goes on a walk, does Pilates, now getting in the Uber, all of this kind of stuff in a high-rise apartment. And she has a small CTA here to her YouTube as well, which is quite sneaky. But essentially the main art of this is just to show off her lifestyle and just to be quite authentic here. Then she says tanning while checking in on how much dollars the girls are making today, showing loads of proof, loads of results. This builds a lot of trust again and shows authority. And then at the end of that, she had a CTA to a webinar that she was running today as well. So that's kind of some of the stories that she's running as well to push that traffic. Now let's actually have a look at her other page. So She Sells Academy, that's the name of her coaching company. And this is more direct. So this is more salesy, if that makes sense, because people have come to this page because they know they're going to be learning about her offer and that kind of thing. So if we look at her highlights, it's full of day in the lives of her students. I think this is really, really effective because at the end of the day, the reason why people want to buy into something is because they want a transformation. And a lot of that comes down to your lifestyle. People want to be able to travel, live freely, drive a nice car. And all these day in the life videos show exactly how easy and cool their lives are because they make a couple $100 and they make $500 or $1,000 and then they're on a flight to Mexico or whatever. And this is just going to build loads of FOMO, and that this is really effective for getting people to pushing people over the edge to actually buy in your program. Then she has testimonials, just showing off raw results that people have reflecting on her program. And then if we look at the type of reels she's posting on this account, it's much more specific to her offer. So she's showing off the mastermind she runs for her group. Again, day in the lives of her students. I think this is really, really effective type of content because imagine you're a girl and you're trying to get into sales and you see these women living the dream life you want and you see this all the time, it's just going to build so much FOMO. Then she just shows off like the behind the scenes of what she sells and also like some insider value and a taste of the group. So in this case, she was like showing off a Zoom call, a coaching call in her program. So this is really, really effective content. Then if we have a look at her TikTok, she has a massive following again, like 500,000 followers. That's pretty big. And it's pretty much quite similar to her Instagram. So she's posting similar, like she's basically posting the same content she's posting on Instagram. But again, it's very, very consistent, 2 to 3 times per day, not once a week. And this is what makes it really, really effective. Like we've seen this with TGR as well. Consistency is really, really key. And she does this really well. She's also starting to repurpose her longer form content as well. So this is from her YouTube, which we'll break down in a second. And again, she has pinned posts that are pretty much, this was a bit of her story and how she became like a CEO from graduating school. And then just some crazy viral videos, which again, give her so much authority, breaking down high ticket sales and how women can get into it. So let's have a look at her long form on her YouTube. And I think this is one of her biggest weaknesses actually right now, because if you look at this, in six months of her posting, she's only made 4 videos. And YouTube is the best platform. Out of all the other platforms, YouTube is the best because it has the highest quality traffic as the videos are so much longer. And because they're longer, people get nurtured and gain more trust from the creator. So basically, the type of content she's posting is a mix. Again, value content, lifestyle content, and authenticity content, because you always need those 3 and 4 just to actually seem like you're not just a commodity, right? So she does this really effectively. And I think if she was just to post maybe one video a week, she could be easy doing like an extra like 100K plus in generating leads and generating warmer leads for her webinars. As well as that as well, she appears on other platforms, which is a really, really effective thing to do because it increases brand awareness. And that's what's so important, is just getting your name spread out to as many people as possible so they can slowly enter your funnel and then slowly purchase from you. So she was on WARP, she was on another guy's podcast, and I think this is a really effective thing too. So that's pretty much all of her organic side of things. Now let's have a look at the ads. So right now she's running 90 ads, and I had a look at this, and she's running a mix of retargeting and cold ads, which CTA to her webinar. So the reason why retargeting ads are so effective is because they leech off the fact that your audience, the people that you're sending these ads to already know who you are, and you're just paying to get them to see more content so they can get further nurtured and further directed to the other parts of the funnel. And so obviously the main benefit of that is it's a lot cheaper because you don't need to spend as much money pushing the traffic because people already know who you are. And yeah, so basically this video here was basically saying, you've been chosen to see this video, you know exactly who I am, how do you get, but the question is, how do you actually get into my program? And then she basically talks about how you can sign up for her free class, as you can see here. But she is also running cold ads as well. And she's running pretty much like awareness and like educational focused ads. So she's basically talking about, you know, like sell me this pen, and like breaks down how you can sell this pen. Then at the end says, if you're a girl and you want to learn how to do this more effectively and make money and escape your 9 to 5, then join my free class, pretty much. And she like calls out doctors and lawyers. If you're a girly and you're working like 12 hours a day, you're doing it wrong, how you can make FU money in sales. So like she's really making it aware that high ticket sales is the path people should be taking. She always calls out the ICP, women wanting freedom, getting out in their 9 to 5, and also why high ticket sales is the most effective model. What I do think she could improve with her ads is she's not running any testimonial ads. Like she's not showing any proof of like her students doing really well, which I think would be way, way more effective. Even if she was just to post some of her students showing off their day in their lives and they CTA'd her program at the end, I think that would be really, really effective, because again, showing off that lifestyle is really going to build that FOMO. So I think that would be effective too. She's also running some static ads as well. I thought these were quite effective because they look very, very professional. Like this almost looks like a Forbes cover, like from like a magazine. She looks really, she has a lot of frame in this. And I think, yeah, this is a great static ad here. So pretty much all this traffic that she's generating is being directed to a webinar. And she runs 2 types of webinars, one for her organic and one for her ads. And basically the difference between these are the organic traffic goes to a live webinar where she's actually there, genuinely there, delivering the webinar. And then the paid traffic goes to a pre-recorded live webinar. And the reason why she does this is because this can be automated and this can be run pretty much 24/7. Like it's pre-recorded. So whenever an ad sees it and they can opt in, they can go and see the page straight away. And because the reason why they do this is because these leads are cold, they need to get onto the webinar as soon as possible. So that's when they kind of run within 24 hours versus like a weekly webinar that the organic traffic gets. So I'll break down the organic side first, and we can see how this landing page is effective. So pretty much standard like webinar landing page, how to step into high ticket sales with Shelby Sapp, again, tying it to her name. She has a countdown timer here, which builds a lot of like urgencies, like, oh, it's in 7 days, or depending on whenever you see this, it could be a couple of hours from now, and it gives you urgency to actually join. She then has a CTA to join, the exact date and time, so people remember this. And then some more copy down here, which is basically breaking down step by step what you'll receive. She then calls out the ICP, so sick and tired of the 9 to 5, want to earn a living without a degree, want to learn a new skill, work from anywhere. This is exactly who she's basically making sure that whenever people come to this site, they know they're at the right place. And this is what does this by calling out those people. Then she also like disqualifies people if they're not looking to get rich quick, they don't want to put in the work, they don't want to put up the community. So this again just separates who she wants to work with and makes you feel like you're in the right place by doing this. So that's effective. Then she also has a personal introduction, just building authority, and she's the founder, just breaking down her story to build more trust. And then from there, once you click on one of these buttons, so the Save My Free Sport or RSVP for the masterclass, you're then taken to the registration page or the opt-in page. And here they capture your name, email, and phone number. And the reason why they have this is so that they can send you emails before the webinar and also your phone number, so the sales team can also hit you up and send you SMS text before the webinar and call you after the webinar as well. And we'll break down why they call you that in a second. So after you put in your details, you're then taken to a post sign-up video. And this video is really effective. This is basically setting out the frame for the webinar. So she first starts off by congratulating you and saying like, well done on joining the program, joining the webinar. It makes you feel really special, kind of builds a bit of hype through that. And then just explains what's going to happen next. So she asks you to bring a pen and paper and make sure you take the call on a laptop. And the reason why is because she wants everyone to have like the maximum amount of engagement. Because this will increase the chances that they stay for longer and gain the most out of it. Then she obviously also says, make sure to show up and not miss the event, because obviously in order to like get people to buy from her, she needs them to show up. So she makes that really, really clear. And then also explains that they'll receive some emails beforehand with all the details, like the link to it and everything like that. Also, what was interesting was that like a pop-up came up as well at the same time that was asking what you currently do for work, and then some other kind of irrelevant questions. I think this was like the bucket question. This was the most important question, because they'll then tie this to your phone number here. So then later down the line after the webinar, the sales team will then be calling these people up to maybe recoup them or book them in for a call if they didn't already at the end of the webinar, was essentially to figure out if they're financially qualified. So let's say if this is an accountant or a lawyer, that's a good lead. It's a qualified lead for the sales team to then reach out to versus like, a student, for example. So yeah, pretty much after you've opted in, you're then taken to this show up sequence. But before we break that down, I want to also show you the landing page for the cold ads, because it's slightly different and it's more optimized for the colder traffic. So as you can see, it's a different headlines: how to get started in remote high ticket sales. So this page is basically optimized to the business model because people don't know who she is and they don't know the business model. So it's catered towards getting that, improving their understanding before the call. So it basically breaks down the business model so that cold leads can understand this. Because if you already follow Shelby Sapp, you already know what she does. You already kind of know what high ticket sales are, but colder traffic won't know this. So this kind of helps with that. So she breaks it all down here, makes it very simple, and talks about the benefits. You don't need to generate your own leads. You can have, you don't need to push, you don't need to be sales, makes it really easy, and the benefits of high ticket sales. And then basically has a more in-depth personal breakdown of herself because people actually don't know who she is. And she does this to build like trust, like her story and how she went from 70K, was her biggest epiphany, to doing over $10 million. And so she also has an FAQ page because, as you can imagine, this colder traffic will probably have a lot of objections because they've never heard of this before. And all of these will overcome that. So that's also quite effective. But after that, you're then taken to the exact same opt-in page, and everything else is pretty much the same from here. So once you've opted in, there's then a show up sequence. So as soon as you've opted in, you'll receive a confirmation email and like a welcome and email, basically generating hype. So as you can see here, she sells masterclass confirmation. You're in, babe. Notice how all the copy, all the emails are in the same tonality as Shelby, to make it seem like it actually is her. And then from there, you'll basically receive some emails 2 to 3 days before the webinar. Again, giving you more information about it, building some more hype. And then on the actual day of the webinar itself, you'll receive a reminder an hour before, then when it's actually live, and then an hour in. So I opted in on the same day, so I didn't receive these 2 emails, but she definitely will be running these. And as you can see here, reminder starts in 1 hour, 1 hour warning, and then doors are open, where are you? And then another one like an hour through, probably just before she pitches and everything. So I actually joined one of her webinars, and there was 4,000 people in it, is what she was saying at the start, which is a decent amount. And let's actually break down some of the slides. I kind of had a look and took some screenshots of them. So basically, most webinars are run in pretty much the same manner, and they first start off with setting the frame of the webinar, like making sure they understand why they're here. So I'm your mentor, you're part of an exclusive club. I'm going to break down this massive opportunity you may not have heard of that women can get into and print money. So basically setting the frame of what they're going to learn. Then she calls out her ICP again and like calls out their pain points to make sure they're here for a reason and they're actually going to gain something from this. So from there, she then breaks down her journey. And this is really, really important because depending on if it's cold or warm traffic, they need to understand her story, because the reason why she has so much authority is because she started from nothing and came to something. So she breaks this all down. She shows how she used to be in college with 3 jobs. She was doing door-to-door sales all the time and was making not that much money. And then she went into high-ticket sales and made a lot. So she breaks that all down, builds authority through that. Then she breaks down the actual business model itself, by selling the business model, why it's the best one versus some other one, like running an agency or doing trading or anything like that. And then occasionally she'll just give more authority by showing off things like her pink Porsche, and stuff like that. Then she actually provides the value. So this is what people came towards signing up, and exactly how you can get into high ticket sales. So the exact process you'll do that with. Then she shows us some testimonials and how she's helped people do it. And then she starts to enter the pitch. And I think the way she did the pitch was really effective. So when she broke down how you can get into high ticket sales, she basically made it very clear how this is quite difficult to do by yourself and can be quite slow. Like getting a role can be really hard. And then she basically explains how she saw how difficult this process was and she wanted to help people out and do it herself. So she then breaks it down in exactly how she sells works, the entire process, getting deals, getting creators, getting better at sales, how to do the interviews, landing a job, etc. And she breaks down her whole offer there. And then after that, there is a CTA to this link that they'll send in the chat, which is basically an application form to book in a call to join the program. And she makes it really clear that this is paid. She makes it clear it's an investment. And she also does make it clear that they do offer payment options, which is quite interesting as well, to make sure that people, if they were hesitant on paying a large amount of money, that they can maybe still afford it in a different way. So that was quite effective that I saw there as well. So once you click on this link, you're taken to a standard application form. Again, it collects the leads details, their email, phone number, so that they can be contacted again, just in case they weren't before. And pretty much these questions are there to qualify you by location and if you have the capital right now. So earlier here it asks where you're from, and it's like are you US, Canada, or somewhere else. And then she also asks, are you in a position and open to investing a minimum of $5,000? So she makes it clear pretty much what the price is starting off. And this is because these, 4,000 people on this webinar, she doesn't want to make sure all these broke people come in. And she makes it really, really clear that it is paid, so the best leads go through onto the sales closers calendars. And then pretty much depending on how you answer this, if you are qualified and you say yes to these questions and you match the criteria, you'll be then said, looks like you're a great fit. You'll be taken into this page where you can then go ahead and book in a call. And then it'll say, thanks for booking. But if you're not qualified, then it will say, thanks for applying. My team will reach out to you and in the next 24 hours to see if we think you're a good fit. And the reason why she does this is because there'll be a lot of these that might say no or might lie, because people lie, right? It's just the nature of this. And they might say no, they don't have enough, even though they do. And then what she'll have is an entire sales team hit them up and manually qualify these leads after the webinar, so that she basically squeezes everyone that was at that event by collecting their email and phone number before that. So basically, if you look at that entire process, it looks like this. So you'll probably receive a call, because I received a call, I think 2-3 hours after the event. And ideally you want this as soon as possible, because speed to lead is really crucial. And basically the SDR will run a triage to basically double qualify the lead and ask like how you found the event, why you wanted to go into it, doing a bit of discovery, but most importantly, double checking how much money you have. Because that's what they really care about, because they don't want people turning up on these sales calls and they can't afford the program. So if you are qualified, then the SDR will let you book in a call if you haven't already, and then you'll be sent over the VSL to watch. This makes sure that you're really clear on what you're going to get from the program and how you're going to get help. Then a group chat will be made to increase the authority of the closer. And also, this is really interesting as well, thing that I noticed as well. She basically framed the closers with loads of authority by explaining how they've been through the program, and they genuinely have, because obviously they joined her program, they learned sales, and now they're teaching, they're closing people to join their program as well. So that's like the maximum amount of authority you can have for a closer, because a lot of programs claim that these closers are head coaches, but they're not actually head coaches. But in this case, they genuinely are, which I thought was really, really cool, because that will build so much trust, because they'll know the program inside out and they can genuinely reflect their true experience through that. So I think that's really, really cool. Then you'll pretty much receive some SMS reminders 24 hours before, 12 hours before, 6 hours before, and then the setter will manually call you up an hour before that call just to make sure you will show up. Then the link will be sent in the group chat. And now the call is either live, and there's 3 situations. So either they close. If they close, happy days, they get onboarded and they start their process of learning sales, or they either no-show. And if they no-show to the call, a setter will dial them up 7 times across a week, every day, to try and recoup them back onto that call. And if they don't close for whatever reason, they'll continue to get nurtured with some free emails, free resources from there onwards. And in order for this all to be effective, she'll definitely have in place like sales tracking sheets. And what these are, they basically track everything, because in order for you to be effective in running any coaching company or business, you need data. And data is really important to making data-driven decisions. So they collect the date, the name, the type of close, whereas it was a PIF or a deposit, the cash collected, so how much actual cash was taken on the call, the revenue generated, any notes like that. And the reason why they do this is so we can calculate statistics like deals closed, deals lost, the close rate, the no-show rate, all of which will let you know what's the bottleneck in the business. So if it's a no-show rate, then there's an issue with the pre-call process. If it's a close rate, then it's an issue with the sales rep himself. And all of this is going to help them figure out, okay, what is the bottleneck in our coaching business and what do we need to change? And we have a much more systemized way with our clients with these dashboards that we have, where we track everything. And I literally mean everything from cash per live call, outbound lead to booking rate, calls from dials. Like we track literally everything from every department of the sales team, from the DM setters, the dialers, the closers, and everything. Because we know that this is what's going to actually drive the business forward, is looking at the data and using the truth to actually decide on what we should do to improve things. So that's pretty much how Shelby Sapp's doing $1 million per month from her coach's business. And I know this might seem really complicated, maybe and even a bit confusing, but if you want to see these systems implemented into your own coaching business and you want help scaling your own offer, and you're either a creator that has an offer right now that you're looking to get help scaling with, or you're a creator that has a skill and you don't know how to monetize it, then go ahead and book in a call down below, and we can jump on a call. I can maybe break down where you're at right now and build you a bit of a roadmap on how you could scale to where you want to get to. And let's just say if we don't end up working together, it's not a problem, because I can just point you can walk away with that roadmap. But if we do, then we can scale to the moon from there. So yeah, pretty much that's everything from me. And if this type of content is something you enjoy, then stay subscribed. We'll be doing more breakdowns on my own clients that we've helped scale to 6 figures. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Take care and peace.